guys, this is Savannah from earthandwater.co. We've been doing a chakra series, but we're going to stop for a second and take a break from that because Mabon is coming up in a couple of weeks and we need to talk about that. So Mabon is the celebration of the autumn equinox. It's when the day and the night are of equal length. So the last celebration we had was it's not the last one, but since the summer solstice, the days have been getting shorter. They're of equal length now at this time, and will continue to get shorter until Yule, so the winter solstice, at which point it will flip, and Yule will be the shortest day and the longest night, and then we'll start getting our daylight back. So right now is a pivotal point for those of us who have seasonal depression. We are losing the sun, guys. We are losing it. I mean, it'll be back, don't worry. It's not like I was going to say it wasn't apocalyptic, but anyway, this in and of itself is not apocalyptic or anything. But if you have seasonal depression, now is the time to really start hunkering down on your preventative measures to maybe help yourself along through the winter, so that maybe you don't get so terribly depressed and anxious this season, as is normal. Theoretically, my theory anyway is that all of these holidays fell around this time of year because not only because we weren't working as much outside because we can't, because it's cold and nothing's growing, but also because we're so prone as a species to anxiety and depression during this time of year because everything's so cold and dead. But that's just the cycles of life, right? We have to endure the winters to have the springs, okay? We have to have that contrast, but it's okay, all right? It's natural, and things will come back around. We just kind of got to ride it out. And there's lots of things that you can do to kind of stave off the seasonal depression. I highly recommend investing in some very luminescent lights, like 1,000 looms or 10,000 looms. I can't remember what this is, but they have, you type in on Amazon, and I know we don't like Amazon, okay? This is just the easiest way to tell you. You can do your own research and not buy from Amazon if that's what you want to do, by all means. I just want to help everybody I can. Type in anxiety lights or something of that. They're light therapy, and they help tremendously because, a lot of our seasonal anxiety and depression is due from lack of sunlight. So getting these lights that have all of these looms come in to your house and just like stick your face in it from time to time. And I have one hanging directly above my desk and have had it for probably like 3 years now. And it is wonderful. And I'm not being sponsored. This is just something that I came across and was like, I'm trying it, because you can get one for like $40, okay? They're not terrible bad. You can get other ones for like, I see there's one right here because I Googled it for you, $130, which I have not tested out. But I have a $40 one, which is on the lower end of things, works great. So I highly recommend that. But other things you can do is work on the ambiance of your home and where you're in your living space and your workspace and all of that. So like salt lamps, not only do salt lamps help with the ambiance, but the mood, the vibration, the energy of the room to like calm you and whatnot. But they also change negative ions into positive ions. They got a lot of benefits and that you can look up as well. Candles, get you lots of candles, but make sure they're not like the fragrancy. Those are really bad for you, the artificial fragrances and stuff. If you light it and the fragrance gives you a headache or it makes you nauseous, toss it out, okay? Because it's leaking fumes and toxic chemicals into the air, and that's just not helpful. I don't want you to be afraid of everything. I'm sorry that our world's so toxic. Bringing plants in, getting some house plants is going to help you a lot. Connecting with nature and bringing it is going to cleanse the air, and it helps a lot with anxiety and depression. Getting a diffuser with some essential oils, those help. Cleaning and clearing your spaces, because clutter collects dust and leads to negative emotions and whatnot. Our outside reflects our inside, and our outside influences our inside, and vice versa, and all of that. So clean and clear, clean and clear, clean and clear, always. But we are kind of getting away from the whole Mabon thing, right? This is supposed to be a Mabon episode, not a how to survive seasonal anxiety and depression episode, even though I think that's probably more useful than just learning the aspects of Mabon. But anyway, as I always say with all of these Sabbats, sure, there are aspects and characteristics that go along with it that you can take from just the tradition and use them for yourself in your rituals or whatever, however you want to celebrate. I highly recommend always just going outside in this time and looking and seeing what you see. What are the birds doing? What are the animals doing? What is nature doing? What does the air feel like? What's the energy? What kind of colors are around? What's the weather doing? What's going to seed? What's producing fruit? What's blooming? Just noticing and becoming in tune with the nature and the world around you. And going from there and using your own aspects to connect with it, because it's a personal practice, right? Where the whole point of these Sabbats, these celebrations, is to connect ourselves on a personal level, on a deep level, with the world that we live in. And there's no better way to do that than to go outside and see what you see, because it's going to be a little bit different depending on where you live. The southern hemisphere versus the northern hemisphere, for example. In the northern hemisphere right now, we're coming into fall, but I believe that the southern hemisphere is coming into spring. So depending on where you live is going to make a difference on how the best practice for you to celebrate would be. There are a few things that we can look at. This is traditionally called Witches' Thanksgiving. And Mabon is also the youngest of the Sabbats. It didn't even exist until the 70s, but our ancestors have been celebrating the equinox, the fall equinox, for centuries. It was just only Mabon itself as a celebration of the equinox is fairly new. But that just speaks to how powerful it is that we took something in such recent times, when we've become so materialistic and cut off from our spiritual aspects, and solidified it into a Sabbat of all things. It's just amazing and beautiful and miraculous, and we should definitely honor that. But anyway, the aspects are, and I have a blog post that I'm just reading these off. My blog post, I wrote it, it's just to be clear, but I'll drop the link in the description so that you can find it, so that you have notes. But cornucopia, equality, gratitude, abundance, because it's a harvest festival. Everything's, it's abundant right now in the gardens and whatnot, which also lends to success. And then the colors are your traditional fall colors, unless you're in the southern hemisphere. I'm not really sure how that works, honestly, because I'm in the northern hemisphere, and that's kind of biased of me and probably not great, but I'm sorry. I can't be perfect, and I can't be everything for everybody, and nobody should. So, sorry. You let me know. You educate us. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you tell us what's going on in your world right now, because it's opposite of ours, and that's just really cool, I think. But speaking for the northern hemisphere, you can wear fall colors to celebrate, have a bonfire and a feast, but safely. Do a safe bonfire. I know that in the west, like California and stuff, they have lots of wildfires, and you probably can't do a bonfire out there. My brother-in-law had just recently moved out here with us, and he's from California, and we're in Alabama, and everything's very wet here. So we lit a couch on fire, because that's just what you do here when you don't want a couch anymore. You burn it. And he was just amazed, because he can't do anything. You can't do anything out there like that. So I recognize that as well. So, practice safe practices for wherever you are. But absolutely have a gathering and a feast, because why not? I feel personally, and I think I've mentioned this in every Sabbat podcast episode, but I think that if we would have more feasts and celebrations with each other in these aspects, like day-long feasts and just gatherings, it would fix a lot of problems on the relationship levels and the family levels and the community levels. And we just really need to celebrate more together, you guys. And I don't like the traditional Christian holidays simply because they come with so many obligations and different things that take away from what they were originally meant to be for. Like Christmas, for example, is all about giving gifts and stuff. It's supposed to be about togetherness and love and all of those things. But anyway, you're not here to listen to me complain about the problems in the mainstream holidays. So more things you can do to celebrate this Sabbath is go apple picking, cleanse the energy of your home. Not only do we do spring cleaning, but there's fall cleaning as well. And I did recently learn, when I was following this is just from my own experiences, when I was doing cleaning in the spring and the fall, because that's what they say you're supposed to do around these Sabbaths, these equinoxes and whatnot, I noticed a lot of spider eggs. Lots of spider eggs when I was cleaning, especially outside. And so I Googled it and I was like, when do spiders lay their eggs and stuff? And it said that although they lay eggs year round, the most dangerous spiders, the most poisonous and whatnot, lay theirs in the spring and the fall. And I was like, holy crap, there it is. That's why we're supposed to do this now, because it's safer for us. But I thought that was super cool. There's all sorts of things that our ancestors did that didn't make sense to us until we learned why they were doing them, like this, for example. But you can dry herbs, you can set fall intentions. So set your intentions and accompany to the lower chakras at the moment. That's fun. I have a blog post on that. If you're interested, let me know. Gratitude journal right now is wonderful. But yeah, do that. Also, join us in the Facebook group. Tell us all the things. Tell us how you're celebrating, and tell us what the world's like on your side of the planet and where you are, and if it differs from all of this. We love to learn about everybody else and the cultures and the stuff, because it's super cool to see how people are living in other places, because every single place is completely different in their culture. Like, there's, even in the U.S., like, every state has a different culture almost. So yeah, let us know. Happy Mabon blessings, all of that good stuff, and namaste.